Well, hello you guys and welcome to another vlog. This time we are somewhere in Eastern Europe, in Moldova, in its capital city of Chișinău. And to be honest, I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to make a vlog here because I'm here only for 2 days. Usually this is considered like the most boring and ugliest capital city in Europe. And also there's not a lot to see, like touristically speaking, like there are not a lot of interesting sites. So I was like, there's nothing to show. But then I thought, you know what? That's exactly the reason why I want to make this vlog, because they say that it's the most boring place in Europe, but I'm determined to prove that that's not right, and you can still have fun here and find interesting things to see. So that's why I'm making this vlog. So come along with me and let's discover this city. By the way, this is the hotel where I'm staying, Hotel Shadow. Well, this is the outside of my hotel. I think I'm kind far from the city center, but it doesn't matter because it's a pretty nice hotel. And I'm telling you, if you come here, you gotta be careful because there are a lot of not so nice places. Well, you guys, first stop of the day and first interesting site that Chișinău actually has, Pushkin's house. If you don't know, Pushkin was one of the most famous and popular poets in Russia. He was actually Russian, but he was exiled because of his critical writings. And this is the place where they brought him as a punishment for 3 years. And he actually did write a lot of his poems here. So he spent 3 years in Chișinău. And what used to be his house is now a museum. So let's check it out.
Here we have this tiny museum that provides historical context about Pushkin's life. Here you can find portraits, documents, and literary materials that explain his exile.
So here's the house where he was exiled for 3 years and where he wrote like a lot of his poems. Let's go check it out inside. It looks actually pretty cute.
В Испании вы учитесь или работаете?
Я работаю
Вы учитесь?
Online. Моя учительница русская.
Well, as you can see, not bad at all for a punishment. I mean, that doesn't look like a prison at all, and I might say that it is way better than the average apartment in London right now, which is where I'm living. So I mean, if this was his punishment, it was a quite decent one. Very interesting. So check it out. This is the garden. It's actually quite big. This is where you pay your entrance and where the exhibition is, and this was the house where he was living. One thing I want to say is that the staff here were so incredibly nice and kind. I didn't have internet, and there were some parts where they had like a QR code that you had to scan and it would show you or give you further explanation. Also like a song that a famous composer composed, and like Pushkin wrote the lyrics. You could hear it. So like they came with their phone and they did that for me. They actually guided me through the exhibition. They were so nice and kind. So far, experience with people from Moldova, 10 out of 10, even though I just started. Well, the weather might not be the best now. It's even raining, but it doesn't matter. This won't stop us. So as you can see, first interesting place. This is the same as going to the UK and going to visit Shakespeare's house. The exact same. Pushkin was one of the most popular poets in Russian literature. So, I mean, coming to see where he was exiled for 3 years and where he wrote some of his very important poems, it's like quite cool. Well, you guys, and I think now I'm in the city center. So this area looks a little bit more walkable. Let's go. Okay, this is a cafe that I saw on Google and it looked very nice. Maybe now it's not the best weather, but look how nice. So just grab your coffee and come here in the middle of the park. By the way, you guys, it's the end of winter, almost spring, but maybe it's not the best time to come here. But I'm sure that if you come in summer, when the weather is better and everything looks like greener and like it must be so much nicer and so beautiful. By the way, something about this city, there are a lot of parks. Of course, because of the season, like they don't have any leaves or flowers, but still, that's why I'm saying, like, if you come in summer, it must be much nicer, but we're also gonna go to some other parks. So here we have, I guess this looks like a church, and it's right in front of the cathedral that we've just seen. Oh, by the way, it looks like it's open, so let's go check it out. If it's free, we'll enter. Wow, you guys, check this out. It looks amazing. Here you have like this Here you can have these stands like to buy like souvenirs or like religious like elements. And we have this right in front. Look how beautiful. And here's another landmark, the Arc of Triumph. And by the way, one of my favorite things about Moldova actually is that here they are bilingual in two of the languages that I actually happen to speak, which are Romanian and Russian. So it's super cool because I can just code switch between the two, even mix them together, and people here understand me. So eu pot să vorbesc în limba română, în românește, și dacă eu nu știu cum să zice ceva sau nu știu cuvintele, eu pot să schimb по-русски, и я могу говорить на русском, и люди înțeleg меня. Это очень круто, и это моя любимая вещь об Moldova. Pentru că pot practicat русский язык и румынский язык, и это очень круто. Потому что я очень люблю говорить на русском. Vorbesc limba română. Well, I guess we're getting ready for spring. It should be right around the corner. Poliția. By the way, this is one of the biggest avenues in the city, I believe. It kind of reminds me of Romania, but I guess that Eastern European looks similar, right? Makes sense. Well, now we're coming to the park dedicated to this very important guy in history, Stefan cel Mare, Stefan the Great. And if you don't know who this is,
He was the ruler of Moldova in the 15th century, remembered as a major national hero.
well, guys, maybe it's not the happiest time of the year to come here because even the fountain has no water, it's not working. Yeah, but still, I love cities that have so many parks. It's so nice, so love it. Another Bonjour Cafe in this park, so they must have one in various points of the city. So nice. Well, okay, you guys, I think I've already discovered the magic of Chișinău, and I think it's coffee shops and restaurants. They are super elegant, super cute, and super classy. So even if out in the street it might feel a little bit grim, especially today with this weather, the moment you enter like any coffee shop or restaurant, it's just so inspiring and elegant. So just come here for the cafes. So this is like a boulangerie, like they have all kinds of sweets. Check it out, it's super cozy. They have food, brunch. Guys, I just want to show you the contrast. Like, check out these buildings next to this super cute one where people are even taking pictures because it's a pretty photogenic spot. Yeah. Okay, so apparently it must be a super fancy restaurant with very nice architecture on the outside. Following with the contrast, it says like Residența de Stat, which is like residence of the state. I don't know, some kind of governmental building next to this one. Yeah. Anyways, let's go. Well, we made it. Last park of the day. Welcome to Valea Morilor Park. Partial views to the city, and the reason why we came here, the lake. Look how beautiful and how green all the surrounding area. Look how nice, you guys, to have this in the middle of the city. Look, there's even ducks. So cute. Funny because every sign or billboard in the city, it's written in Romanian, like absolutely everything, every street sign, billboard, etc. However, on the street, I hear, I would say like 90% Russian and maybe only 10% Romanian. I don't know if maybe it's because there are a lot of Ukrainians and Russians who came here and are living here. That might be the reason. But mostly I hear Russian on the street, but everything else is written in Romanian. So it's like quite interesting. Okay, check this out. And you can walk all along the lake that way. Also here where I'm at. Just beautiful, guys. And imagine this in spring, when everything blossoms. Wow. Well, and this is a special section for all my brutalist architecture lovers. So enjoy these brutalist buildings in Chișinău. Look at this one. It's called Romanica building. Because yeah, if you didn't know, like Moldova was part of the Soviet Union. So there are a lot of buildings that are part of the inheritance of that period. Next up, we have Hotel Cosmos, which by the way, it's abandoned but still standing. Or maybe it's for us tourists like to come here and enjoy them. I don't know. But it's interesting. By the way, I just want to show you this building because I think it's very interesting. It also looks like it's kind of abandoned, like in ruins. Well, not kind of, but full on. And it has like the colors of the flag. Moldova was a part of the Soviet Union from 1940 till 1991. So that's why we can find a lot of monuments in Eastern European Soviet style still nowadays. I'm not very familiar with all the kinds of Soviet architecture. I just know brutalism. But there are many others, so just bear with me. I don't know the difference, but you can just see like relics of the communist era everywhere. So if you're into this kind of architecture, Soviet architecture, Moldova is your place. So there are interesting things to see. Okay, and now next one in the list, this is the circus. It was open for 23 years. Because actually, interestingly enough, a circus was one of the main forms of entertainment in Soviet times. So people love to go to the circus to see clowns, performers, lions, bears, like all kinds of animals. And this one in particular was open until 2004. It closed then because of renovations, but then it just never opened again and it was abandoned. So even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, like circuses here were open and operating because of how popular they were. And actually, this place is right next to my hotel. I didn't know it, but yeah, I'm staying next to the circus, the former circus. This place used to have some glorious days back in the day, and look at it now. Okay, and last Soviet building of our series. Not because there are not any more, you guys, there are so many more, but I just don't have the time to go to all of them. So this is my small selection. This is the Mod Telecom building. This one is in use actually, and this is like one of the biggest telecommunication companies here in the country. Like they provide mobile services. So they work here. This is their headquarters. As I was saying, summer is so much better because look what we have here, Teatrul de Vara, which means like summer theater. And here we have what it looks like when it's open. Check this out, like in the back part. Amazing. So if you come in summer, you might be able to watch like a theater play here. One thing that I do love about Chișinău, by the way, and might be my favorite thing, is that if you want to eat like at 2 a.m. in the morning, or it doesn't matter the time, you can find places open and like really nice ones anytime. I'm surprised because in my country, in Spain, this doesn't exist. Like if you want to eat like after 12 midnight, forget about it. Like everything's closed, and the only places that you might find open are in big cities like Barcelona, Madrid, or like similar cities, only on the weekends, and they are like the typical kebab or like fast food chain, you know, like maybe like this pizza, like a pizza place where you cannot even sit inside, you just buy and go, you know what I mean? And now I live in London and it's very similar. It's actually the same thing, and like restaurants close even earlier because they have dinner earlier. So it's super, you will be hard pressed to find a place that it's open at 2 a.m. on a random Thursday, let's say, even in London, and it's one of the biggest cities in the world. But here in Chișinău, I'm surprised, and restaurants that are open in the early morning hours are super nice, by the way. Let me show you. Trattoria, unde se mănâncă bine, where you eat well. And look how nice it is. It's a completely total normal restaurant, and it's open 24 hours. Look how nice it looks from the inside. And guys, actually, fun fact, I came here yesterday when I arrived, and because I'm a creature of habit and I liked it, I just decided to come back. Also, dinner was delicious. Just look how classy everywhere looks here, like all restaurants. Check this out, you guys. I had this yesterday and it is just delicious. And I know what you're thinking. So Eva, you're going to Moldova to just eat pasta? Yes. Well, you guys, if you remember, I told you at the beginning of the vlog that I was determined to debunk the myth that Chișinău is the most boring capital city in Europe and there's nothing to do. And that's what we're coming to do here. Just prove that. salsa house. We're coming to a Latin party because yes, even in Moldova, you can find salsa Latin parties. So I bet that's not gonna be boring, so let's go. Well, guys, yet another park. Sorry, this looks like park tourism, but not really. The reason why I came here is a different one. I wanted to check out this building. It's called Coliseum Complex, and I just think that it has a pretty interesting architecture. So this is to commemorate like all the people who died in the Afghanistan war. And yeah, so this is the monument. Well, you guys, this is one of the other sites that you should visit while you're in Chișinău. A mass is going on right now because it's Sunday. That's why it's a little bit loud. But this is one of the most popular churches in town. Look how beautiful. Of course, it's Orthodox because they're Orthodox in this side of the world. And you have this here, which I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like a little chapel. Probably, yeah. And this is what it looks like from the outside. Look how beautiful. Very similar to the one in Kiev that has the same colors, but just way smaller, of course.
Well, you guys, and we got to the end of this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it as usual, and I hope that you now have a reason to visit Moldova. As you can see, there are definitely some things to do and some fun to have. So see you in the next vlog and destination.